I worked in automated collections systems, ACS. I got phone calls from taxpayers who've gotten letters or phone calls from the IRS, help people set up payment plans.
Yeah, it's the automated collection system. That's
Right.
where you worked. And
Mhm.
that's where everybody gets these notices from. It says ACS and, number to call. And so you were the person that had to bear the grunt of the situations, right?
Yeah, one of many people there, yes.
So first thing I want to let people in on is the little secret that you taught me about when to call. When you have a problem with the IRS and you have to call them, when is the best time?
Well, before COVID, Monday and Friday was the worst days of the week to call. Best time to call is like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. The middle of the week, most people do it the beginning of the week because they figure, they want to get it done, or they do it on Friday because they want to take care of it for the weekend. So it's usually like Tuesday, and the earlier in the day you call is better.
Well, let's talk about most of the people we work with are between, they're between 0 and 100,000. Even well, I just handled an audit where the woman owed $250,000. But that was a tax audit. That was bizarre. But let me just say about you can call the IRS and make an installment agreement.
Yes.
What people don't know is that sometimes if you're really in dire straits, that you could go into the uncollectible inactive status.
Yes.
Where you still owe the money, but they don't bother you. You told me about, just some stories of people doing ridiculous stuff. And, but you also told me about a conversation that you overheard two auditors having one time, right?
Yes, I did overhear it. I was in the cafeteria. This is a long time ago, so things have changed. They've been told, to change their, whole stance on communication with taxpayers. But this is going back a good, maybe 10, 12 years. But yeah, I heard them saying how they were laughing about the fact that they were, really technically putting the screws to some taxpayers because they owed a lot of money. They're not allowed to talk to them like that anymore because it's illegal. But yeah, that I was just like dumbfounded to hear them say that, like, hello, but yeah, that happened.
Yeah, now I told you some of my recent experiences with audits where the auditor just like totally disallowed everybody, in 2 cases, they just disallowed all the expenses, saying they weren't for a business. One of them was a trucking company that had like over $530,000 in receipts, and they wound up sending an apology letter. And then another one, in that case, she owed over $250,000. Do you think that's a little strange?
Well, you also told me that it was, within the COVID time period. And I think that in order to meet the demand, I think, number one, they may have hired on a lot of people that maybe they had quick training or, the basic training. Depends on who they were talking to. There's a lot of factors there, but yeah, it is strange because a lot of taxpayers, as you said to me, aren't aware that they could put in an appeal.
So, I know that the IRS does their best, but, also, and probably with individuals with simple returns, it's okay. But when people have a business, the IRS, the government isn't really the best place to go. There's not really a lot of places for small business owners to go, to be honest with you.
The biggest problem I have with small business people, 1099s, and even individual taxpayers, they would just sign that tax form and allow it to be filed. And a lot of them didn't even look at it. I says, you have, just because someone's preparing a tax return, you need to look at it. You need to look at the figures, especially your income and whatever they're saying that's being deducted. And if something looks strange to you, question it. Don't assume that, especially during tax time, every tax preparer is inundated by taxpayers on businesses, small business, large business, individuals. You got to look at your tax return. You and you alone know what you spent.